Dear brothers and sisters, most of us are not losing sleep because our problems are too big. We are losing sleep because we are trying to play a role that was never ours to play. We are trying to control what belongs to Allah. You lie in bed at night, staring at the ceiling. Your mind is racing. What will happen to my future? What if I fail? What if I lose this opportunity? What if they leave me? What if things don't work out? And the more you think, the heavier your chest feels. The more you try to solve everything in your head, the more tangled it becomes. But let me ask you something gently. Who told you that you were responsible for outcomes? Allah never asked you to control results. He asked you to make effort. That's it. Some of us are exhausted not because we worked too hard, but because we worried too hard. We replay conversations. We imagine worst-case scenarios. We create problems that haven't even happened. And in doing so, we carry a weight that even mountains would struggle to bear. When you try to control everything, you are silently telling yourself that it all depends on you. And that is a very heavy burden for a human heart. Ramadan comes to correct this misunderstanding. When you fast, you feel hunger, you feel thirst. Yet you continue your day. You work, you study, you function. Why? Because you trust that sunset will come. You trust that relief is guaranteed at the right time. You don't keep checking the clock every second in panic. You know that if Allah has promised Maghrib, it will arrive. So why don't we trust Him the same way with our problems? The one who ensures the sun rises every morning without fail, do you really think He has forgotten your situation? You are afraid about your rizq, but Allah is Arazak, the provider. You are afraid about your future, but Allah is Al-Alim, the all-knowing. You are afraid about outcomes, but Allah is Al-Hakim, the most wise. When you try to control what belongs to Him, you disturb your own peace. Because deep down, your soul knows you are not built to manage the universe. Tawakkul is not doing nothing. It is doing your best and then stepping back with confidence that Allah will handle what you cannot. It is studying hard for your exams and then accepting whatever result comes. It is working honestly and trusting that your provision will reach you. It is loving someone in a halal way and trusting that if they are written for you, nothing can take them away, and if they are not, nothing can force them to stay. What is meant for you will never miss you, and what misses you was never meant for you. But Shaitan whispers differently. He tells you, if you don't overthink, something will go wrong. If you don't stress, you're not responsible. So you mistake anxiety for responsibility. You mistake fear for care. Yet, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam faced situations far heavier than ours, and still his heart remained anchored. He tied his camel, he made effort, but his reliance was complete upon Allah. That is the balance we are missing. Some of you are young, yet your shoulders feel old. You feel pressure to succeed quickly, to prove yourself, to meet expectations. Social media makes it worse. Everyone seems ahead. Everyone seems settled. Everyone seems successful, but you do not see their private fears. You do not see their silent struggles. And most importantly, you do not see Allah's unique plan for you. Your timeline is not their timeline. Your test is not their test. Your risk is not their risk. When you accept that Allah's plan is better than your imagination, something beautiful happens. The mind quiets, the chest softens, the heart breathes. You still work hard. You still plan, but you no longer panic because you finally understand, I am responsible for effort, not outcome. Tonight, when you lie down and your thoughts begin to race, pause. Instead of wrestling with scenarios in your head, raise your hands and say, Ya Allah, I have done what I can. The rest is yours. And mean it, because the one who controls the stars, the oceans, the beating of your heart is fully capable of controlling your situation too. You were never meant to carry what belongs to Allah. Let it go and watch how your heart finally finds rest. Sleepless nights are an invitation, not a punishment. Waking up anxious at night can be a call from Allah to pray tahajjud, make dua, and reconnect instead of overthinking. Sometimes you wake up in the middle of the night with a heavy chest. The room is dark. The world is silent. But inside you, there is noise, thoughts rushing, regrets replaying, fears whispering. You turn from one side to the other, checking the time, hoping sleep will return, but it doesn't. and you think this is a punishment. You think something is wrong with you. You think you are just anxious. But what if that sleepless moment is not a curse, but a call? Not every awakening is random. Not every restless night is meaningless. Sometimes Allah wakes you up because He wants to hear your voice. During the day, we are distracted. Phones buzzing, responsibilities piling up, conversations, laughter, stress, scrolling. Our hearts become busy. Our tongues become occupied. And we tell ourselves, I'll make dua later. I'll pray properly tomorrow. I'll reconnect when I have time. But time never appears. So Allah creates it at 2 a.m., at 3 a.m., when the world is asleep and there is no audience, no noise, no filters, just you and your Lord. And in that stillness, your heart feels everything you've been avoiding. The pain you buried, the fear you ignored, the guilt you suppressed, the longing you never expressed. Maybe Allah woke you up not to overthink, but to unload. Tahajjud is not just a voluntary prayer. It is a private meeting. It is an honor. It is an invitation that not everyone receives. Many people sleep through the night peacefully, but they miss the opportunity of divine closeness. You woke up. That itself is something. Instead of reaching for your phone, reach for wudu. Instead of scrolling through distractions, stand before the one who controls your situation. Instead of letting shaitan turn your thoughts into panic, let your tears turn into dua. There is something powerful about speaking to Allah when no one else can hear you. You don't need perfect Arabic. You don't need long memorized supplications. Just speak. Tell Him what hurts. Tell Him what scares you. Tell Him what you are ashamed of. Tell Him what you cannot tell anyone else, because He already knows. But He loves when you admit your need. Sometimes we think we need solutions immediately. We want problems solved overnight. But Allah sometimes gives you calm before He gives you change. And that calm begins in sujood. When your forehead touches the ground, your ego softens. Your pride melts. Your heart opens. And in that vulnerability, something shifts inside you. The problem may still exist. The exam is still coming. The debt is still there. The relationship is still uncertain. But your panic decreases because now you have handed it over. You see, anxiety grows in isolation, but peace grows in connection. And there is no connection more powerful than the one between you and your Creator in the depths of the night. Shaitan wants your sleepless nights to be filled with fear. Allah wants them to be filled with faith. There is a difference. Fear says, what if everything goes wrong? Faith says, even if things go wrong, Allah is still in control. When you turn your night into worship, you transform weakness into strength. You transform worry into worship. You transform insomnia into intimacy with Allah. And perhaps that is why some of the most beloved servants of Allah cherished the night. While others saw darkness, they saw opportunity. While others saw exhaustion, they saw elevation. Ramadan especially magnifies this gift. In this month, the doors of mercy are open wider. The rewards are multiplied. The atmosphere is softer. If you are waking up in Ramadan feeling restless, it may be Allah pulling you closer, not pushing you away. Imagine standing on the day of judgment and seeing mountains of reward from nights you thought were bad because you couldn't sleep, but instead of wasting them, you prayed. What if those anxious nights become your evidence? What if those tears become your protection? What if that insomnia becomes your elevation? Tonight, if you wake up again, don't sigh in frustration. Smile gently and whisper, Ya Allah, is this my moment with you? Stand. Even if it is just 2 rakah, even if it is just 5 minutes, even if your eyes are heavy, and then sit and speak to Him until your heart feels lighter. You may return to bed and sleep peacefully, or you may not. But either way, you will not feel alone, because you answered the call. And sometimes sleepless nights are not punishments. They are invitations to come closer than you have ever been before. Shift focus from dunya to akhirah. We lose sleep over temporary problems, but rarely over our relationship with Allah. Ramadan is a wake-up call to prioritize what is eternal over what is temporary. One of the greatest tragedies is not that we lose sleep, it is what we lose sleep over. We lie awake worrying about marks, money, marriage, messages, opinions, followers, deadlines, reputations. Our minds become battlefields of temporary concerns. We fear being left behind in this world. We fear not achieving enough. We fear what people think about us. But how often have we lost sleep because we felt distant from Allah? How often have we cried at night because we missed Fajr? How often has Jannah kept us awake with longing? Ramadan comes as a wake-up call to shift our focus from what is temporary to what is eternal. The dunya feels big because it is close. The akhirah feels distant because it is unseen. But just because something is unseen does not mean it is unreal. In fact, it is more real than everything around us. The money you are stressed about it will either leave you or you will leave it. The people you are afraid of losing one day, death will separate all of you. The status you are chasing it will fade the moment your name is no longer mentioned. But your deeds, they will stay. Your salah, it will stay. Your Quran, it will stay. Your sincerity, it will stay. We live in a time where the world is constantly screaming for our attention. Notifications, trends, comparisons, they pull our hearts in every direction. And slowly, without realizing it, our priorities shift. We begin to measure success by dunya standards only. How much do I have? How many people follow me? How far ahead am I compared to others? Rarely do we ask, how is my relationship with Allah? Am I ready to meet Him? If tonight was my last night, would I be at peace? Ramadan interrupts this cycle. It forces you to pause. It takes away food and drink things you thought you needed every few hours and shows you that you can survive without them. And if you can survive without food for hours, you can survive without constant validation too. Fasting weakens the body but strengthens the soul. When your stomach is empty, your heart becomes more sensitive. You realize how dependent you are. You realize how fragile life is. And you begin to understand that this world was never meant to satisfy you completely. This dunya was designed to be imperfect. If it were perfect, you would never long for Jannah. The problem is not that we care about dunya. Islam does not teach us to abandon it. We work, we study, we build, we earn halal, we marry, we contribute. But dunya is supposed to be in your hands, not in your heart. The boat is meant to be in the water. But if water enters the boat, it sinks. When dunya enters the heart too deeply, it sinks the soul. That is why some people have everything materially, yet they cannot sleep peacefully. And others have very little, yet their hearts are calm. Because peace is not tied to possession. It is tied to perspective. If your entire focus is this life, then every small problem feels like the end of the world. A delay feels like destruction. A rejection feels like humiliation. A loss feels unbearable. But when your focus includes the akhirah, everything changes. You begin to see tests as temporary. You begin to see delays as divine timing. You begin to see losses as purification. You begin to see hardships as elevation. And suddenly, the thing that kept you awake does not look as powerful anymore. Imagine standing on the day of judgment and seeing how small your worldly worries actually were. The exam you panicked over, the argument that consumed your thoughts, the financial stress that stole your sleep. Compared to eternity, they will look like moments, short moments. Ramadan trains you to think long term. Every fast is a reminder that reward may be delayed, but it is guaranteed. You are hungry now, but you will break your fast later. You are patient now, but you will be rewarded later. And Jannah is the ultimate later. If you are losing sleep over something temporary, ask yourself gently, will this matter in 5 years? In 10 years? On the day I stand before Allah? This question realigns the heart. It does not make you careless. It makes you balanced. You still care about your responsibilities. You still work hard. But your heart is not shattered by every wave because it is anchored to something eternal. Ramadan is your annual reminder that this world is a journey, not a destination. So shift your focus. Care about your salah more than your status. Care about your character more than your image. Care about Allah's opinion more than people's applause. Because when the dunya ends, and it will be the only thing that will comfort you in the darkness of the grave, is the light of your deeds. If you are losing sleep, let it be because you are standing in prayer. If you are staying awake, let it be because you are reciting Quran. If your heart is restless, let it be because it longs for Jannah. That is a restlessness that leads to peace. And that is the shift Ramadan is calling you to make.